This is Keithan Brown reporting for the History News Network. Before joining the Texas Army, Lieutenant Colonel William B. Travis, a Texas commander at the Battle of the Alamo, studied law and was a practicing attorney for a brief time. Barely 20, Travis began the publication of a newspaper, became a Mason, and joined the militia. After a failed marriage, Travis left home in Alabama and headed to Texas. In 1831, Lieutenant Colonel Travis obtained land and set up a law practice first in the town of Anaheim and later San Felipe. When friction developed between Texas and Mexico, Travis was one of the first to join the Texas forces. On October 2, 1835, Mexican General Martin Perfecto de Cos demanded the surrender of the Texans' cannon, which resulted in the Battle of Gonzales. This was the first military engagement of the Texas Revolution. Travis was one of hundreds to come to its defense. However, he arrived too late. On orders from Governor Henry Smith in January of 1836, Lieutenant Colonel Travis entered the Alamo with about 30 men. Within days, he found himself in command when Commander James Neal left to go home on leave. Travis commanded the defenders during the siege and the Battle of the Alamo. However, during the battle, Travis made an appeal for reinforcements.
Fellow citizens and compatriots, I'm besieged by 1,000 or more of the Mexicans under Santa Anna. I've sustained a continual bombardment and cannonade for 24 hours and have not lost a man. The enemy has demanded a surrender at discretion, otherwise the garrison are to be put to the sword if the fort is taken. I've answered the demand with a cannon shot, and our flag still waves proudly from the walls. I shall never surrender or retreat. Then, I call on you in the name of liberty, of patriotism, and everything dear to the American character to come to our aid with all dispatch. The enemy is receiving reinforcements daily and will no doubt increase to 3,000 or 4,000 in 4 or 5 days. If this call is neglected, I am determined to sustain myself as long as possible and die like a soldier who never forgets what is due to his honor and that of his country. Victory or death. William Barrett Travis, Lieutenant Colonel Commandant. P.S. The Lord is on our side. When the enemy appeared in sight, we had not 3 bushels of corn. We have since found in deserted houses 80 or 90 bushels and gotten to the walls 20 or 30 head of beeves.
Travis gave this letter to Courier John William Smith in an envelope marked Victory or Death. This letter is an American symbol of unyielding courage and heroism. Although a few reinforcements arrived before the Alamo fell, Travis and over 180 defenders gave lives for Texas independence on the 6th of March, 1836. Among the fighters of the Alamo were Jim Bowie, renowned knife fighter, and David "Davy" Crockett, famed frontiersman and former congressman from Tennessee. Lieutenant Colonel William B. Travis wrote this letter to all Americans that sends a resounding voice of hope. Victory or death. This is Keithan Brown reporting for the History News Network.